Sailors and pirates and scalawags we, in the dark Caribbean, on a roiling sea. Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. There's 5 in the crew, what are we to do? We've been blinded by a bilge rat, crunched by a croc, drowned in the droppings of a seagull flock, stung by the jellyfish hung from a rail, battered by a barnacled humpback whale, stabbed in the groin with a rusty pitchfork, keel-hauled under a Spanish man-o'-war. Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. There's only 4 left on this bloody poop deck. We've been obliterated by an obscure oyster cult, mashed by a marrow mortal, quite an insult, electrocuted by an eldritch eel, an ancient elder our souls did steal, livers all black from years of rum. I just found out where scurvy comes from. Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. We're down to 3 on this forsaken sea. We've been bitten on the back by a banded sea crate, drawn and quartered by an angry sea wraith, shot in the gut with a cannonball, carried off whole by a carrion crow, our lungs all filled with wet consumption, shocked by a shoggoth. Now isn't that something? Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. It's just us 2, we are so doomed. We've been gnawed on by a necro swine, pickled in a barrel of bile and brine, garroted by a gorilla crab, smashed so flat by a coral slab, burning under the sun in a gibbet cage, feeling the wrath of a mermaid's rage. Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. Now it's just me, it's time to flee. But I've been chomped in half by a fossil shark, chained in the well of eternal dark, stoned to death by a mad Jamaican, got heart disease from too much bacon, swung from a noose which did not slacken, gored by the beak of a love-crazed kraken. My health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. Well, you could complain that life's not fair, but the angry sea, it just don't care. My health is gone and the end is nigh. In the dark Caribbean, so many ways to die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I was but a wee boy, my father said to me, "Son, for generations we've sailed upon the sea, but danger's out there lurking to send you to the grave. So learn your ABCs, lad, perhaps your life you'll save. Now sea monsters they come in many shapes and sizes. Let's review them all now so there be no surprises. A is for albatross, hung around your neck. B is for bilge rat on a briny shipwreck. C is for Charybdis hiding under a rock. D is for deep ones in the great abyss they stalk. E's for ancient elder who'll try to steal your soul. F is for fossil shark who'll try to eat you whole. G is for giant squid with tentacles of steel. H is for hydra with many heads that kill. Some monsters be above ya, some monsters be below, but the monsters that'll get ya are the monsters you should know. I's for infernal pelican who's got a massive beak. J is for jellyfish whose sting will make you weak. K is for...
Brontosaurus.
Oh, right.
Arr-arr-arr-arr.
Hello, good evening. Still trying to set up this camera. Alright. There we go. I'll try that there. Trying to do new camera position for tonight. Get it to work. There we go. That should be better. All right. Hope everyone's having a good night. We're going to be doing 6 and 7 tonight. Let's see what we got here. All right. You can see that a little bit better. Let me turn the light up a little bit. All right. Check microphone. There we go. Turn this up a little bit. Let's see if that's any better. There we go. Work on the lighting there. One man show. I hope everyone's doing well this evening. I'm going to work on some storyboards tonight. For the Escape from Crab Island. And I submitted or talked to Justin Davis, my storyboard art, or my concept artist. He's going to be doing some art for the jungle, so I'll use that as reference when he finishes that the next week. I'll have to schedule when we'll start making the set, or when I'll start making the set. Got my new Cricut so we can make palm leaves and palm branches, so that'll be fun. All right, let's make this a little bit bigger. Fill up the screen a bit. Okay. All right. Furnace is kind of noisy. I'll shut off here pretty soon. Oh, come on, light. Ugh. This light is irritating. If you leave the app open, it says, okay, I'm going to shut off. Don't do that, Elgato. Okay. Let's try this again. Dude, can you just pick a brightness and stick with it? Okay, there we go. I had to have it. Sorry, I had to have a conversation with my light. All right. So McQueen slowly moves down a lava corridor covered with vines and roots. All right, let's move over to this other camera here. And there we go. Okay, I moved the camera to a different position. Hopefully that it's a little less in my way, so it's up on a tripod. Okay, that should work. All right, so it's been chilly outside. Hopefully the furnace turns off at some point. Noisy furnace. Drawing, says the Lady of Cats. Hello, Lady of Cats. All right, so we've got this one here. Slowly moves down a lava corridor covered with vines. Sunlit alcove. I think this was supposed to be rays of light coming out. little sand in there. All right, where did my pencil sharpener go? Where are you, pencil sharpener? Where have you gone to? All right. Somewhere around. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was gonna say it couldn't be too far. A different angle, yes. I'm trying the camera a little bit more over the shoulder tonight to see if that helps. I think if I had some kind of rig or something, I could like have it look straight down, but I don't know. Okay, so where were we? So we had McQueen slowly moves down a lava corridor covered with vines and roots. Sunlit alcove appears at the end of the corridor. Oh, I also forgot my title card, which I also forgot the other day. All right, so I'll just throw it on here. Escape from Crab Island. Episode 6. Okay, so the idea here is to use the YouTube Shorts platform as a choose your own adventure style of game or experience. Now, choose your own adventure is copyrighted by some publishing company from the 80s, which is when I grew up and had my own copies of the choose your own adventure books. And I thought, I don't know, it was a month ago or so, I thought, well, it'd be fun to do a similar sort of thing using YouTube Shorts. Let's see what Google says. Choose your own adventure books. Popular series for children. So who's the publisher? Created by some guys. Oh, here we go. Okay. So choose your own adventure series based on concept. Starting Sugarcane Island. Okay, Bantam Books then. So Bantam Books probably owns that trademark. Well, let's see here. When Bantam, now owned by Random House, allowed the Choose Your Own Adventure trademark to lapse, the series was relaunched by ChooseCo. ChooseCo will begin to reissue titles by Packard in 2025. So it used to be Bantam and then Random House, and now there is a company called ChooseCo out of Vermont. So I'm just calling this a choose your own path. All right, how's that work for you? Choose your own path. All right, so we finished this scene where he's walking down. Now he's going to enter into a lighted alcove that is lit from the sun above. All right, so I pictured as kind of a little cave room. Okay, back to this here. Picture in picture. Okay, so McQueen slowly sticks his head into the room and looks from side to side. Okay, so kind of envision that as a close-up. So maybe something like this. Because usually in these types of scenes, you're focused more on the eyes, and then like there'll be like a medium shot showing him like in the doorway. That's kind of a trope. Okay, so that's kind of small. There we go. And he's got these kind of nose. And he'll look this way. And then he'll look that way. Okay. has ears, and he's got a wig on. And he's got kind of a square jaw. Okay, so again, these drawings are crude. They're for the purpose of animatics, which are basically rough drawings, just to kind of get a feel for the mechanism of the game. And, you know, when I need good drawings, I hire good artists. I'm not a good artist, but I get the job done when it needs to be done for free. And my favorite pencil is the 2B pencil. My favorite eraser is the High Palmer from Pentel, sorry. Okay, there he goes, looking around from side to side. His eyes are looking. Okay, and then we'll do a so the next line is coast appears to be clear. So I think what I'll do is I'll have that occur over his medium shot. Okay, so kind of be a little cave doorway in the lava flow, in the lava corridor. Okay, and then we'll just put him in his coat here. I should bring up a where is it? I think it's in here. Yeah, there it is. All right, so this is his artwork by Justin Davis. I should put it over here. There it goes. That's his artwork right there. Okay, so that's what I'm resketching there. All right, so just draw him in his coat. This camera a little bit. There we go. So you can see a better view of me looking down on this artwork. Okay. Okay. All right. And his coat spot right here, and then he's got his little squishy pants and his socks right there. His little calf. Okay, and he says coast appears to be clear. All right, now he says the skeletal remains of a sailor lay against an old chest. Okay, there we go. So we will draw a skeleton here. Just sharpen the pencil a little bit here. Kind of picture, I mean, so later in this timeline, and we'll have to show the timeline here in a second, without breaking or moving. Okay, I'm ill prepared. There we go. So basically, episode 1 is the establishing shot, and then he's at the well bottom. Then he climbs the rope and falls down and dies, because this is Pirate Borg universe. Everybody dies in Pirate Borg universe. He inspects a block, or he picks up the gem and he dies, which is a scorpion. Or he inspects the block and he goes down the alcove, and this is what we're working on here, episode 6. Now, if he takes the key, then this is going to lead to hold on. Sorry. He takes the key, and then this is going to be the rest of the storyline. Here he climbs the ladder, and he ends up dying. So I wrote yesterday night, and this morning I worked on episode 7 and episode 8. Okay, so we're going to try to finish those tonight. That is the global view. All right, so now we're back to here. Okay, so coast appears to be clear. We'll put some little squiggles here for this little wall. Okay, he's got his 4 fingers. All right, there we go. And that's probably good enough for the coat. Let's put some stuff back here. All right, now we've got skeletal remains of sailor lie against an old chest. Okay, so we're going to do skeletal remains. So a skeleton. So he's sitting, the skeleton's kind of sitting up. There's a chest, maybe a medium-sized chest. It's kind of next to him. But it's empty, so we'll just kind of show that there. Okay. Okay, so now, okay, so I think he's just gonna be laying up against the kind of the wall. He's got his little pelvis. He's supposed to have some rags on him. So here's his little skeletal feet. He's got his femurs and his ulnas and his humeruses and all his bones and his rib cage. Okay. And we'll assume there's enough sinews there to keep all his bones together for the time being. Maybe we'll give him a funny little hat or something, like a swashbuckler Captain Sebastian hat. Okay. Because at some point, McQueen picks up. I was trying to figure out when this monster, it turns out it's a necro pig, undead pig. McQueen needed something to fight him with, so I figured he's going to fight him with his forearm bone and hand. It'll be kind of funny. So, in the Pirate Borg universe, it's death, but it's also a lot of humor. Okay, so it was a skeleton remains of a sailor lie against an old chest. So maybe we'll give him some pants that are kind of rotten. Maybe give him like a shirt that's kind of rotten. Okay, and then background is it's just going to be the lava flow, lava cave. Put a little small ceiling in there. Okay, I'm gonna write skeleton. Oh, and he has to have a key around his neck. Here's a key. Okay, so that's our skeleton. Right there. All right, so he sees the skeleton. I don't know what's over here. I don't think there's anything key in there. Okay. Now, the next one is a janky ladder of tree limbs heads up to the top of the room. Maybe I should say heads to the ceiling of the room. A few of the lower rungs are missing. That's fine. Okay. All right, there's that. So kind of envision just kind of just a janky ladder, but it's made out of like tree branches and stuff. It's an impromptu ladder, so there'll be like some tree branches. Maybe it'll be kind of like this, like a little, needs to go out of frame. Okay, another tree branch. We'll have some rope strapping. Oops, I dropped my pencil. Okay, there's that. And the rest of that tree limb, maybe it's just broken branches. And we'll put one here. This needs like a little. Okay, little strap there, a little strap there. Key thing here is that not all the rungs are there, because at some point, so there's a line, a timeline that where he tries to climb the ladder, but he falls down and he hits his head on a rock and he perishes. All right, so we'll make a little lava rock here. Okay. Now the other thing is a small dark recess is beside the ladder. A soft grunt emanates from the hole. Oh, it's the necro pig. I should go get the necro pig, by the way. Hold on, I'll go get the necro pig. I'm not prepared. All right, I am back, and I brought with me the necro pig. Here he is. Maybe you can see him in here. Oh, I need to put this on. There we go. Necro pig. Here he is right here. So necro pig was he was created for the So Many Ways to Die music video. You can see him in there. He's just a regular old pig, but he's an undead guy. So, but the guy in the movie, he needs to have, or the guy in the short, he needs to have some tusks. So we'll put some tusks on necro pig. All right, we'll put him up here. Necro pig's a little leaky. All right. It's got some 3D resin on him. Okay. So it's got to be big enough. So a small dark recess is beside the ladder. A soft grunt emanates from the hole from Mr. Necro Pig. We'll call him Nicky the Necro Pig. All right, so there needs to be like, he needs to have a little kind of Necro Pig hideout. And it's got to be kind of dark. Okay. Put some little baubles on the janky ladder. And this is, background's not terribly important here, so. There's a rock there that he's going to hit his head on. And we don't know where the other rungs. Maybe the skeleton who hid his treasure chest down here, who knows what happened. Maybe Necropig took him and put shoes on him in his necrolodge. All right, so a small dark recess is beside the ladder. A soft grunt emanates from the hole. Okay, now we have McQueen steps towards the chest and peers inside. So I think what I'll do, I'll do that as, well, have we reestablished where he's at? Probably want to maybe reestablish him. So maybe he'd just have him walking. I mean, the alcove isn't too big, but we'll make that behind him a little bit smaller. And then gonna draw him going forward. Okay. Maybe somewhere in there. All right, so here's what is that? His tri-corner. And he's looking at the chest. Okay, he's got his coat on. Apparently his coat is a little bulkier. Okay, what's that? His eyes are now quite dark. Okay, there's his track corner. And maybe we'll show the chest a little bit in the foreground with the feet of Mr. Skeleton. Maybe we'll call him Scallywag Sam or something. Here he goes, his little feet. And he's got his little pants and then his little legs and his shoe. Okay. Now I need to get another piece of paper. All right. There's that. Okay. So we got the chest in the foreground and the sailor's skeletal feet. Okay. This is the chest, so we can kind of see where he's heading to. All right, kind of rough chest there. Okay, now that's what we got there. All right. Now 6A, this will be 6B. And steps towards the chest, and then he peers inside. Well, that's him stepping toward the chest. I don't know if I need to show him. Well, it probably wouldn't hurt to show him. Maybe looking in the chest. It's gonna kind of be a back shot. Skeletal guys, maybe right here. Here's the chest. Okay, he's got his kind of his wig. He's looking kind of thick. Let's thin him up a little bit. So that'll be kind of a medium shot of him looking in the chest. And he's got his little pants and his socks and his feet. Alright, scallywags, skeletal remains. Okay. Okay, he's gonna look down into the chest. And the chest is empty. And he says, blimey, nothing in here. In there. Okay. All right. So I think I'll just show the chest empty. We don't need to see him saying that. So he can just say blimey. Over the empty chest. Okay. Okay, so there's an empty chest. Now, McQueen looks at the remains. Shreds of old sea clothes hang on the skeleton. All right, so this will be kind of cowboy shot, which is like a 3/4 shot of skeleton. So the focus is not going to be on the chest. Chest will just be over here. That's probably not the proportion I want. Okay. He also has this hat. I forgot his hat. Here we go. He needs this funny hat.
I've got a funny hat.
Maybe it's just a simple straw hat. He's got his teeth.
Those are my teeth.
All right. Okay, and then he's got a couple neck vertebrae. He's got his collarbone. He's got his ribs. Okay. Give him all the appropriate ribs that he needs. And then he's got his pelvis. Okay, and then he's got his legs. All right, he's got his just ball and socket for there. All right. Again, we're not winning any contests with this art. We're just doing the animatic. Okay, just needs to kind of see what's going on. Now he does have this sun-shaped key, which is around his neck. Okay. So McQueen looks at the remains. Shreds of old sea clothes hang on the skeleton. Okay, so he's got like an old shirt. Some pants. There we go. And then McQueen says, "Hey there, mate. What you doing down here?" So I think we'll do a close-up for that one. Okay, he's got his nose, he's got his lips, he's got his eyes. got there, he's got his track corner. Okay. And he has an ear. And he's got his nose. All right. And he says, "Hey there, mate." Ellipses. Okay. Then a rusty key in the shape of a sun hangs on a worn leather strip from the skeleton's neck. Okay, so we'll do a close-up. I think I'm going to draw the key first. Okay. So, some strange looking key like that. And it'll be like on a leather lanyard or something. Okay. And then he's got his ribs. And he's got a shoulder. There you go. Okay. All right, so it's a sun. Okay. There's that. Now, all right, so there's his little sun-shaped key and his little skeletal remains. And then he says, "Ah, that key looks interesting." Maybe he says, "What an interesting key." What an interesting key. All right, so McQueen scans the room. All right, well, yeah. McQueen scans the room. Okay, yeah, I think that works. Okay. I think in the next one, I'm going to make him feel guilty about taking the key. All right, so I think we'll go back. I think we'll combine that. What an interesting key, and he scans the room. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll do that as a medium shot. And plus, I don't really want to have more than, what is that? 8 and 8, 16. Yeah, I don't really want to have more than 16, so I'll kind of combine these. Okay, so what an interesting key. Okay. And he'll be scanning the room. Well, I could put this there. No, because I need these cards. All right, so all right, so I'll just have him. I'll basically redo this other one where he's standing in front of. Okay. Turn his head kind of back and forth. that chest back here. So basically he'll say what an interesting, or he'll scan the room, or say what an interesting key, and then he'll scan the room. And then so then he's going to basically offer us the two choices. Or he breaks the fourth wall. Should I take the key or climb the ladder and head on out of here? Okay. All right, so we're back to kind of a close-up. Nose, his lips. Okay. Okay. Should I take the key? All right, so then first card is take the rusty key. Or take the, I think it's the sun-shaped key. Is it rusty? Yeah, okay, we'll just say it's rusty key. Okay. To take the rusty key, go to episode 7. And then I'm going to make a fake one here. Oh, Mr. Necro Pig. My pig fell down. All right. Just going to add one here. Okay, choose your own path adventure. Okay. Card to climb the janky ladder. Go to episode 8. All right, so we're done with 6. Who voices this character? That's a good question. There's somebody I'm hoping to get, but he's kind of famous. And he is the father of a friend of mine. So, but I want to put everything together first before I approach him about it. If he's not interested, or I can't afford him, well, we'll play it by ear. I voiced the animatic because it's convenient, but it's more fun for me to get somebody else to voice it. All right, so all right. Oh, we're going to color this in. Okay, so it's a favorite time when we color things in. Do I have some pink for Necro Pig? I don't have enough colors. I need to just go to King Soopers and buy the 96 color pencil ones. Okay, so there's some sand on the ground. His eyebrows are yellow. Sand on the ground. His eyebrows are yellow. There's some sand on the ground. There we go. His His eyebrows are yellow. Okay. His hat, his track corner is black. There's his track corner. Okay. And I'm gonna make the skeleton guy's hat. I'll make it orange because it's kind of a straw hat. And of course, the chest will be brown. Okay, and the ladder will be brown. Okay. And I guess his shoes are brown. There we go. This is kind of brown. And I always make his cheeks kind of rosy. Okay. And his coat is blue. Okay. All right, and this rock is kind of black. And I mean, this is just kind of darker, so I'll make it black. This alcove is kind of bright, so we'll make it yellowy. Okay. And his coat is blue. There's his coat. All right, that's probably enough. Just adding some color to it. Oh, I need some yellow for this down here. Just to make it interesting. Okay, there we go. So that's first sheet. And then the second sheet. The sand is yellow. And treasure chest is brown. And anything else brown here? Rusty key. I guess the key can be this, whatever this is. Oh, it just says red. I'll put some orange on it too. Maybe some brown. Because it's rusty. A little bit of orange. Alright, there's rusty key. Okay, and I guess the leather lanyard will be brown. And his hat is black. Okay, and that has black. And that has black. And that has black. Okay. And the arrows. I always like to make blue. Forgot about these arrows. Are over here. Oh, there it is. Alright, this one, blue. Okay, there we go. Alright, to Mr. Skeleton, his hat was orange. Alright, let's put some little things in the background there. I forgot about his little key. Here's his little key. Okay. Alright, and then McQueen has a blue coat. Okay. Skelly's got an orange hat. McQueen's blue coat. And the queen has some yellow eyebrows. And he's got some red cheeks. All right. And I think that's everything that needs color. Okay. Throw those over there. Okay, so there we go. That's episode 6. So I'll scan those tomorrow. Now, we will go over to Episode 7, where he takes the key. All right. So, these over here. Put these over here, I guess. Okay. So we got episode 6, which is a node in our flowchart, because you go back to episode 6 if you die. All right. So now we're on episode 7. And on episode 7, it is if he chooses to take the key. And he has an interaction with the necro pig. Okay. I think this is redundant. That key is quite unique. Okay. So I want to get all this. Oh, I don't want an episode to be longer than a page, so arbitrary rules. Art is arbitrary. Okay, episode 7, and this is where he takes the key. This is the main storyline, the main plot line. Okay. All right. So, first thing is the card for the title, so that the viewer or experiencer of this knows they're in the right one. Escape from Crab Island. Episode 7. All right. So, McQueen stands in front of a rotting corpse. That key is quite unique. McQueen bends over the decaying sailor and pulls the sun-shaped key from his neck. Okay. So, let's see what we're going to do here. Well, it's the first shot in the episode, so we're going to start with probably with a medium shot. So let's draw his little hat and his little head. All right, that's just a hot mess. Okay. There we go. All right, and he's got his nose. There's that. He's got his wig. Okay. Just kind of standing there. Okay. And he's got his... He looks a little chubby. Okay. And then stands in front of the rotting corpse. Okay, so here is Skelly's legs and his pelvis, something like that. It's rather crude. And here is the chest. Okay, there's the treasure chest. Okay. Then, let's see what we got here. That's nothing. All right. So there's Skelly's legs. He's got his shoes. Okay, so there's Mr. McQueen, Lieutenant Lee McQueen, and he's looking at the skeleton. All right, that key is quite unique. Now he's going to talk about this key, so we're going to need to show it. So here, that key. All right, so we will go back to the close-up shot. Kind of looks like a Lorax or something. Okay. Who's drawing this stuff? Alright, so there's a key. Something like that. And it's on Mr. Skeleton's bony chest. Alright. So I think... Alright, so then it says McQueen bends over the decaying sailor and pulls the sun-shaped key from his neck. Alright, so I think then I'm going to do a medium shot. Alright, so I think... Alright, so we'll do a medium shot base, maybe just him reaching in. How would we want to show that? Bends over the king, pulls the... I think probably just the same shot but pulled out. And basically just show his hand reaching for the key. He's got a straw hat. Okay, his ribs. His pelvis. Alright, that's a rough looking skeleton. Okay. Alright, so he's reaching for the key. Alright. Alright, so he's reaching for the key. And there's that next to him. Okay. And then he says pulls the key from his neck. Okay, that's fine. And then so we will have a card that says add sun-shaped key to inventory. Okay. Now, there's that. I make this a little bit bigger. And it says, thanks, mate. I'll take this for safekeeping. All right, so we'll do a close-up shot. We haven't had a close-up in this episode yet. Okay. He's got his wig. Maybe he'll... Okay, we'll just have him say... Thanks, mate. I'll keep. Okay. Now, there's a bit of a kerfuffle the skeleton falls to the ground. Skeleton falls to the ground with a clatter. Okay. All right, so skeleton falls to the ground with a clatter. So this is all going to just basically okay. This hat. And his ribs. Okay. And his pelvis. And his legs. And his arms. Okay. Crash. All right. And then his forearm and hand fall off into the sand. So we'll do a close up there. All his metatarsals and all that hand business. There's got to be enough sinews there tying on. He's got some big bones.
I had big bones.
Okay. So his hands just, arm is just, actually it's his forearm that he's going to use as a weapon, so we'll separate it there. Maybe just put other bones here. He's got his rib cage. All right, so all right, let's just get more. Okay. There we go. Something like that. Okay, now we've got from the recess near the ladder, a boar with rotting skin and open sores screeches a loud grunt. A gold coin hangs on a leather strap from around his neck. All right, and that's Mr. Necro Pig. He wants to say oink oink to everybody. Here's Mr. Necro Pig. He was a character in So Many Ways to Die. He was funny in that movie. A 4-minute pirate music video. Which, by the way, the Cabin Fever book contest, which that video won, is shipping now. So in a week or so, maybe, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks, I'll be able to show that book that has my music. And a link to the video. Took 2 months to make. I have an 8-foot pirate ship in my basement now. All right, so there's that one. Now we've got Necro Pig, and I need another sheet. Here we go. Thank you to Superstar Worksheets for going through the work of making this worksheet. Okay, now okay, so this is episode 7B. That was A. Episode 7B. Okay. So, from the recess comes the necro pig. All right, I'm going to put him here. And he's cute. Okay, so there he is. He's got his big necro pig ears. And this one's kind of chopped off because he's an undead piggy. And he's got his snout. He's going to have some little tusks because he is a piggy. And he's going to have his little eyes here. His little beady eyes. And he's just going to kind of be a little bit of a hot mess. Little piggy hot mess. Okay. There's his little pigness. There we go. And something like that. Okay. Not sure how much of his body we're going to see from this angle. But we will see his little piggy legs. And he says, grunt. All right, and a gold coin hangs around his neck. And I'm going to put a little hole in that gold coin. Like that. Okay. There is our piggy. Oh, excuse me, it's getting late. We'll probably finish with episode 7 here. All right, there's Mr. Pig. And then he says, blimey, a necro pig. Okay. So we'll do a close-up there. Maybe we'll do extreme close-up. Let's make his eyebrows like this. Blimey, a necro pig. Okay. All right. Then the pig slowly moves towards McQueen with a long squeal. Okay. So let's see what I got here. So probably do it as a medium shot, maybe. So it's a little piggy snout. He's got his cute little tail. It's a cute undead piggy tail. It's kind of like a pit bull. And he's got his little coin around his neck. And then we'll show kind of McQueen over here. That ladder's kind of right here. Kind of a rough McQueen there. All right. He's going to say squeal. All right. Now, McQueen searches around the alcove and spots the forearm in the sand. Okay. So, where do they maybe medium-ish, cowboy-ish, which is 3/4. See where to put his head. Okay. Just gonna move his head around. Okay. And then he sees the forearm and he'll say, this will have to do. Okay. So kind of him picking up the forearm. All right. Then, all right. So then, there's this rough sketch of him reaching in to get the forearm. Okay. Then he says he grabs it and points it at the pig, and the skeletal hand offers a handshake. Okay. All right, so probably that same angle of Mr. Necro Pig, who looks suspiciously like a dog. Okay. There's this little piggy. Coin, and there's this ladder in the background, and then the skeletal hands wants to offer him a handshake, and basically he's holding the hand out like that. Okay. A handshake. Okay. That'll be silly. And then the pig moves towards McQueen. There's right there. Shaking his hand at him. Okay. And then the pig scowls. Pig moves towards McQueen with a growl. All right, you undead pig. Let's see what you got. Okay, so I think I'll do it as another close-up. Okay. He says, all right. You undeck pig, let's see what you got. Okay, pig moves toward him. Okay, and then pig scowls and shows his large tusks. So we'll do a big close-up of the nectro pig with this little piggy nose and his little piggy tusks. Okay, to show a very mean-looking pig. Okay. He's got that coin around his neck. There we go. And he scowls. Okay. That's one crazy looking pig. Okay, put his little piggy tail there. Okay. There's the pig. Alright, so that's 7B. I'll do one more here. And then we'll call it a night. Okay. Seven C, and it says McQueen says roll a 6-sided die and we'll determine if undead bacon is on the menu. Roll a 6D, okay, and just another close-up of him. Okay. So then we've got a couple of cards here. If you rolled a 1 to 3, go to episode 9. If you rolled a 4 to 6, actually that should say D6. Okay, there you go, D6. If you roll a 4 to 6, go to episode 10. All right, so that one's done. So we can ink that, or ink. We can color that. There's no inking here. All right. All right, grab my collection of pencils. Okay, so we got sand. And there's some sand here, sand on here. He's got his orange hat. He's got his blue coat. Okay, his orange hat. He's got the key. Blue coat. Blue arrow. That. This hat is black. Okay, this key. He's got his red. And he's got this brown here. Alright, orange. He's got his hands. Alright, so that's enough for that sheet. Then we got the necro pig. Okay. Okay, he's got his blue coat. He's got a blue coat there. He's got some yellow sand. Yellow sand. Yellow sand. Alright, he's got a blue coat here. And this will be kind of brown. This will be brown a little bit. Alright, and then necro pig will be a little pink and a little brown. He's got some brown spots on him because of the necrosis of the pig. Okay. We'll make the gold coin orange. And he's going to have a little bit of red in his cheeks. Okay. Alright, so there's that one. And then we've got just this one last one here. That and this. Okay. I don't know where that came from. All right, there's that. Let me see how much we got for 8. Probably gonna call it a night. Hey, he climbs a ladder and he falls down. We'll do that on another night. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight while we did some storyboards. Hope you guys have a good night, and I will talk to you later.
Hey, Scully! Yar! Stinkosaurus!
Oh, Rick!
Arty, ar, ar, ar.